Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So in today's video, we do have a lot of topics to talk about. I'm going to try and organize this the best way I can. So we are going to organize this by the player injuries. Then we are going to be talking about the transfer news. And lastly, we are going to be talking about the elections. And so first, we are going to be talking about the player injuries. And the two players that we will be focusing on is Felipe Coutinho and Sergio Busquets. Now that we are getting closer towards the match against Atletico Madrid, which will be on Saturday, these are two players that's currently being watched the most out of all players, because currently Coutinho right now is going through a process where he does need to recover, and Sergio Busquets has just gotten injured. And seeing the form that Atletico Madrid is in at the moment, this is only going to demand FC Barcelona to be in top form. And it says here, according to Javi Miguel, Coutinho has already entered the final stages of his recovery. Everything points out that he will receive his medical discharge on Friday and that he will enter the list which plays against Atletico Madrid. This is the best news we have probably heard so far in this week, unless we do win against Atletico Madrid on Saturday. But this is the best news, because the fact that we're going to have Coutinho to play against Atletico Madrid, this also does raise a lot of questions, because when that starting 11 does come out to play against Atletico Madrid, the biggest question we are going to ask is he going to be playing as a left winger or as a central attacking midfielder? We know right now that Ansu Fati is going to be out for the next 3 or 4 months, so could we see a possibility that Coutinho might play as a left winger? Now, we know that that is not the most popular option to have Coutinho play as a left winger, but it is an option at the end of the day. And I have no idea what Ronald Koeman is going to do, but if there was one man that would pull this off in a big match like this, it would be Ronald Koeman. And now moving on to Sergio Busquets. According to Adria Albets, Sergio Busquets will be out for only 1 week. According to sources close to the player, he would be out for the game against Atletico Madrid and surely against Dynamo Kiev as well. Now, recently we have heard that Sergio Busquets was going to be out for 3 weeks, but now that they have done further tests about Sergio Busquets, he is expected to only be out for 1 week. And like I did say in my previous video, I wish him nothing but good health. I do want Sergio Busquets to come back as soon as possible. We are going to need the depth, and so let's hope that he does recover well. And hopefully, right, knowing that when veterans do get injured, sometimes we do see this as a blessing to the youth players. We have seen so many players in our squad get injured and then have our youth players being birthed in the big stage. So could this open the doors to a player like Ricky Puig or maybe Elenia or any other youth player that's currently sitting in Barcelona B? Now moving on to the next topic of the day, and we are going to be talking about the transfer news. And the first player we are going to be talking about, it is about Neymar Jr. And it says here, according to Alfredo Martinez, Victor Font has ruled out the signing of Neymar Jr. if he wins the elections. This is a big, massive statement coming from Victor Font, because what he is basically doing here is that he is gambling. The fact that you have not been elected as the president of Barcelona, and to say that you are not going to bring in Neymar Jr., that's either going to hurt you to win the elections, or that's either going to help you to win the elections, because who knows what the socios are thinking. Maybe they do want Neymar Jr. to come back, and the fact that they're hearing Victor Font say that he does not want Neymar Jr. to come back to Barcelona, again, who knows if that's going to help him or hurt him in these elections. And this is what he did say in that interview. Institutionally, Neymar does not fit into my plans for financial reasons and for reasons such as that he has sued the club and left us stranded days before starting a season. And he was talking about the 2017 season, and to be more specific, it was when Barcelona did play against Juventus. We won in that game, and then immediately after that game, Neymar Jr. did leave. So here's the one thing that I do have to say about this. Even though we know that this is a huge gamble to say this before the election starts on January 24th, I also do think that this is giving Victor Font a stance. He's giving us an idea that he does want to stand for something, and he is a man that does want to plan for the future. And because he has been showing us all of these ideas on what he does want to do with this club and how he's going to financially get this club back into that position that we were 12 to 18 months ago, I do believe that what he thinks about the transfers is a reflection of what he does want to do economically with this club. And obviously there is an element that does play into this, and that is simply that Neymar Jr. is just way too expensive to bring into Barcelona, just like he did state in this interview. But it's very interesting, right? Because we know that Victor Font works very closely with Xavi Hernandez, and Xavi Hernandez has stated multiple times that he does welcome back Neymar Jr. or maybe a winger like Gnabry or Sané. And now that we are hearing Victor Font rule out the signing of Neymar Jr., who knows what they're going to do next? But seeing that Barcelona is in a position where we do have up and coming wingers, I do believe that this is why Victor Font says we don't need Neymar Jr. We have Trincao, we have Dembele, we have Ansu Fati. These are players that can bring us what we do need in this club for the future. And so maybe he does stand by these players. Maybe he just wants to show these players and say, I'm not going to be here and plug holes and try and bring in these big time world-class players. My world-class wingers are going to be here in Barcelona, and that is Trincao, Dembele, and Ansu Fati. And so I get what Victor Font is trying to do. Again, he does want to build for the future, and so it's going to be very interesting to see how these players do react if he does get elected. And speaking about wingers, we are going to be moving on to Dembele. And this is some breaking news. It says here, according to Fernando Polo and Sergi Sole from Mundo Deportivo, Dembele won't be leaving in January as things stand. Contacts have taken place regarding a renewal, but no formal offer. His renewal will be one of the first priorities of the new management, which will be elected in January. They have also stated that between the club and Dembele, there is willingness that they do want to sign a renewal. And it's very interesting to see this because when we do talk about Dembele and FC Barcelona, it has been very back and forth. In the summer, we have heard that Bartomeu and the members wanted to extend the contract of Dembele. Later on, about 2 or 3 months later, at the end of the transfer window, Barcelona were pushing to sell Dembele to a club named Manchester United. And the only reason why they wanted to do that was to facilitate the deal of Memphis Depay. And now that we are here in the winter of December and going into January, now we are hearing that Barcelona yet again wants to extend the contract of Dembele. And I would get why Barcelona does want to choose this path, because Dembele has been delivering in these past 3 or 4 games. And I think that what we are seeing here when it comes to a player like Dembele, this is a player that wants to win. This is a player that does want to achieve things with Barcelona, and one of his main goals right now is to regain his best physical shape. And let me tell you, when Dembele is in top form, he is one of the best wingers in the world. So the final verdict with this young Frenchman, after the elections, whoever is going to be appointed, either Victor Font or Laporta, that is when Dembele is going to decide, do I want to stay in Barcelona or do I want to leave in the summer of 2021? And now moving on to the last topic of the day, and we are going to be talking about the elections. And this is just in, according to TV Cat Radio. In the next meeting, it will be decided whether the elections will take place for just 1 day, which is something that Barcelona does want, or a period of 2 days, which is what the government does want. They are now waiting for Barcelona to submit the protocol for the elections, which is going to be on January 24th. And it makes sense that the government does want to spread this into 2 days because it is simply a lower risk to hold the elections. Just to paint you guys a picture on what exactly the government does want to do, if you have 10 people going to the elections or to go vote, Barcelona wants to bring in those 10 people within the same location. The government is saying, no, we don't want 10 people to come into the same location. That's too many people. What we want to do is bring in 5 on 1 day and bring in the other 5 on the second day. That way there will be lower risk on anything that's going to be health related. But that is where we do stand with the Barcelona daily news. There is a lot going on right now. Keep in mind, I'm going to be making a pre-match preview for the match between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. As soon as that game is over, we are going to be talking about the post-match review and discuss what happened in that game. What did we like? What did we not like? And so there is a lot to look forward to, but that'll be it for today's Barcelona daily news. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.